my lovely ladies, my handsome homeboys. I hope everyone is having a super great day today. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about being a teen writer. And spoiler alert, I'm not a teenager anymore. But I did write as a teen, and I was aspiring to be an author at a very, very young age. I finished my first book when I was 15 years old, and I continued to write another 3 books up until, let's say, life got in the way. I truly believe that if you are a teenager and you are writing over doing anything else in the world that you could be doing, that there's a message inside of you that you need to get out. And that is a beautiful thing. There are words, there are ideas, thoughts, entertainment, something unique about you that you want to share with the world. And don't let anyone take that dream away from you. In this video, and I'll link it down in the description below as well, I go into my one message for any writer. Whether you're a teenager, whether you're experienced, brand new, no matter what phase of writing that you're in, this one video is a message for you. So please, if you haven't checked it out, please check that out, because I'm not going to be repeating the same stuff in this video. Or I'll try not to repeat the same stuff in this video. Alright, so aside from knowing, hey, this is your calling, if you're doing this already at such a young age, this is your calling. What else do you kind of need to know? The first one is criticism. The writing community is, they're tough. They're hard people to please. And there's 2 reasons for this. And I think if I explain this side of it, it's going to make the criticism that you get feel a lot better and not quite so harsh. As someone that has given quite a bit of individualized personal feedback to other writers, sometimes if you're nice about it, they just don't get it. If you say, oh, well, that's not the best way to do this, maybe it would be really good if you started in a way that was XYZ. What they see is, oh, well, it's okay, and okay is good enough for me, so I'll just keep going. And so they keep going, and that, as someone that has taken the time to read something of yours and deliver feedback on it, it's frustrating to get that response. Good enough. Well, I didn't read your stuff for good enough. I read your stuff to make it better. And so after doing that so many times, it can be really frustrating. And so you figure out that if you give advice like, this sucked, I had no idea what was going on until page 3, why would you, out of all the places you could start a story, why here? Or whatever the case may be, right? Like, it is way harsher saying that, but it gets the point across to where, like, the person asking for feedback doesn't just like drift over it because it was said in a really nice way. So realize that's number 1, people give, I would say, really cruel and rough feedback. How is it that people that are so good with words don't filter their words? It's just a part of it, but it's because it's the other end of it, right? If you are too nice, if you are, you start getting people that don't really listen. But if you tell them exactly how it is, sometimes it gives a better response. Still not my style. I'll never be that style. I'm gonna offer my feedback, take it or leave it. And that's just how I go. I'm not gonna tear you down as a person. But for people that don't have that mindset, that are putting all of this work into it, it's hard to get ignored after you've put the time and the effort to critique and the person still, whatever. And so the second reason I think that the writing community has very critical people in it, I think by nature, the writing community attracts, like, the would-be English teachers probably are English teachers for the most part. And like, that English teacher vibe really works for so many people in the writing community. I was the one that I showed up, I'll never forget, I was in 10th grade and I showed up with like a binder, a few things in my binder. I was ready. And my teacher was all like, oh my God, I needed a white binder with a yellow 3-pronged folder hole punched into the front of it. And then after that, we need a specific set of binder things in this way, labeled distinctly like this, or else you will not be able to pass this class. I don't know if you have similar experiences, but I didn't take well to that. And so sometimes that snarky English teacher feedback just totally rubs me wrong. And that's terrible because it's always good feedback. That teacher wasn't trying to be hard on me. That teacher was just trying to teach me how to be organized because God knows I need it in my life. So just remember that if you also don't kind of jive with that particular thing, that is what the majority of the writers, they are. That's what they feel. That's what they're a part of. That's who they are. And that is okay. At the end of the day, that's going to be our readership. So if I use an ellipsis somewhere, I should have used a dash. You know, it's probably going to be fine with me. But for this majority, that's stuff they're going to see and that's stuff they're not going to like. Even if it doesn't jive with you, just realize that's a part of writing, that's a part of the community, right? And they really have good feedback. You just gotta like not be bothered with how it's presented to you. Sit on it, think on it, and then go, you know what? There's a reason for this. I think I can do better. Because usually if you do something very, very well, this community is the first to say, I've never seen anything like that. Or, oh my gosh, that made me feel light the first time I read this book and I absolutely love that feeling. Or, oh my gosh, I've never seen a voice like this. You have an amazing voice. You know, they're also the first to criticize, but the first to praise as well. As a teen writer, I wish I would have known that. My next suggestion is to get involved in beta reading. The reason I say this is for a few reasons. One, specifically me, when I was a teenager, my first, second, third draft was like, I'm good. I'm done, I'm ready. This is ready to publish. And it was so far from the truth. I was extremely proud of it. And if I looked back on it today, I would cringe. And not because I'm just like, oh, so much better. It's nothing like that. It has everything to do with your book isn't gonna be where it needs to be by the third draft. In fact, no one else should read the book by the third draft. So if you are a beta reader and you see how books initially look, you can see what people do wrong, you can give feedback, and you can see how people take that feedback and turn it into something that is closer to being published. It's a really, really good experience for people that don't have a lot of experience. Being handed books that are published books that are incredible and the best they can be, it's really hard to see the process. But whenever you help other authors and you get into this community and you're able to beta read and see things that are unfinished, that is going to help you understand, okay, this is just a part of the process. This isn't a flaw with me. This isn't something I'm doing wrong. This is just a part of the process. Another very important thing to know is that it's okay to be bad. You're not going to be great at this in the beginning. You know, in the beginning, like I said, I finished my first book when I was 15 and I was so proud. But at the end of the day, I am not a published author right now speaking to you. I'm not. You could say, well, what gives you the credentials to talk to me or to give me advice? Because at the end of the day, I've been there. And at the end of the day, I learned a lot from then and now. And if I can just help one or two people on that same exact journey, I feel like I've done my job. And one thing that I personally didn't realize is that it was okay to be bad at this. I thought if I didn't have talent, I would never get there. I am a totally different person today than what I was as a teenager. And it's mainly because of sheer determination and hard work. Beforehand, everything was easy to me. And I'm not saying that to be confident or cocky or anything like that, but I didn't have to study for school. I didn't have to worry about stuff like that because I just did good. You know, I showed up, I listened in class, and I got A's. And I didn't really struggle with anything. And so my first real struggle was that I wasn't good at this. I thought, if I'm not good, I'll never be good. And that is so not true. If you're not good, it takes years to master this craft. And you're not gonna master it if you don't do it. And so by taking the time and writing those books and doing what I was doing when I was younger has really helped me in who I am today as a writer. But let's talk about this gap that I have. I would say the gap was between, I was probably 23 to 30-ish. And so for a good 7 years, I don't want to say I didn't write at all because you can't stop yourself from writing, but I wrote very, very little. And I certainly had totally given up on my dream to share my writing, to publish my work, etc., etc. And let's just say that life got in the way. So I worked 3 jobs, and then I got married and I had my kids. And then I decided to go back to school, and I went and I got my degrees. I've been working within those field of degrees since then. And I'm not going to say that I regret my path at all. I don't. But I regret not writing during my path. I didn't prioritize it because I just still was stuck in that mentality of, oh, that's not for me. That's not what I can do. That's not who I can be and be successful as. And I want you to know that that's not true. And if there is a great time to write and to really do bad at writing and learn all those things that you have to learn, oh my gosh, it's as a teenager, right? It is where you are right now, before you have kids, before you have other priorities. Yes, you might have a job, you might go to school, but trust me when I say that finding time when you're only dedicating 8 hours of your life to something is so much easier than when you're dedicating every second of the day to something or someone. One of my personal goals has been getting a writing schedule down where I write every single day. And it is so incredibly hard for me. And it's just because I'm a mom. And I've got 2 little beings that are adorable that depend on me. And I wouldn't change it for the world. But I can't imagine if I didn't start writing stories when I did as a teenager, that I would be as proficient with it as I am today. If I was starting today where I started when I was 15, it would be so painful and it would be so hard because I would be going at such a slower pace. I remember writing and writing and writing all the time in my younger years. And now I don't have the freedom to just write whenever or however I want. I have to be efficient. I have to be smart with it. So please just realize that you are in the perfect place to start. You right now. And lastly, I'm going to tell you that you need to figure a way to make money. You need to have a job that is going to allow you to live independently for about 10 years before you can truly become a self-sustaining writer. And you know what? It's totally less for some people. It might be more for other people. But depending on you, depending on the quantity, depending on the quality of your books, expect that you're not going to be able to write a book and in about 3 years retire. It would be awesome, and I totally hope that that is the case for you. But always have a backup plan. Life is way more expensive than you think it is, and especially if you do it all on your own. And keep it in mind that it doesn't have to be something so wildly out of the field, right? You could do something like being a psychologist and making your own hours. You can be a teacher. You can be anything. I mean, I'm an engineer. I have a very analytical job, and then I have a very creative passion. And so it's okay for it not to always align, but you can also make money writing. You can make money on blog posts. You can make money doing social media. You can make money freelance writing. You can do that. You can be a journalist. And that is okay too. Just realize whatever you do, you have to plan to have an independent income source for 10 years at least. All right, my beautiful lovelies, that's everything I have for you today. I hope you found this useful. Leave me a comment below and let me know. And if you are looking for more tips, techniques, anything to do with improving the way you tell your story, come check out my channel. My name is Zoe Marley, and I hope you hit subscribe. Thank you. Bye.